Hi guys, welcome back to Valorant News. Massive day in the Valorant community. TenZ responding to officially leaving Sentinels and what that means for them and his next steps as well going forward. But also the playoffs matches happening around the world. FNS giving some maybe controversial thoughts, maybe joking thoughts on exactly what's been going on at NRG as of late. But also watch partying the playoff games as they get rather serious this morning. Very much into your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Durka absolutely grinding, going into the playoffs, getting ready for Team Vitality. We'll get to EMEA in a few minutes time. I wanted to start though, of course, right here with TenZ. We saw him talk about this on stream yesterday, explaining what was happening from his side, but you know, having talked about it on stream and it being rumoured for some time, TenZ then made it official yesterday on Twitter and said this: "Hey everyone, I'm sure most of you have seen now, and yes, I have parted ways with Sentinels. It was an amazing ride. I wouldn't have traded it for anything else. Sentinels was a true family for me and the players and the staff. A little bittersweet, but I'm excited for this new chapter of my life. I appreciate all the Sentinels fans for the continued support throughout my career. Hope you continue to support the team even with my absence. All good things must come to an end. Goodbye, Sen City. It's been fun," he says. So yeah, thought that was really rather nice. Wishing him the best, of course. There was some good reaction to this as well. TenZ officially leaving Sentinels. We then had Jig in the replies, of course, on Paper X saying, you know, is there another organisation you might want to join? Do you want to join PRX? TenZ then replies and says, oh, well, maybe that could be an option. And even Forsaken is in the reply saying the same thing. So of all the people replied to say, hey, join our organisation, Paper X are trying to make a case. We know that TenZ likes their playstyle. And, well, they're going to be in action very shortly this morning, we'll get into. Before we get to the playoff games and also what FNS had to say on a couple of things, just wanted to quickly touch on this. So, look, I don't think anyone, certainly on a very high level, is especially happy with the way that Ranked currently works. Especially at the very, very high level, the issues with stream sniping and with crypto throwing are still very much well and truly alive. And for the players, it's a bit of a shambles, really. Now, Zekin says, I think Ranked is actually really good, probably rather sarcastic. We've got Xander saying, save us. Demon1 says, save me out here. Sabrosa says, it's genuinely so bad. Worst state it's ever been in. Please bring back Pro City. Let's do it, you and me. Money 10 mans only though. I'm down. T-Dog says, you know, Batman's calling. Com replies. So, look, no secret. The pros aren't very happy with the state of things. If you guys remember a couple of years ago when Tyke was running the Pro City, the idea effectively is create a Discord server with, you know, like a bot you can use that will automatically effectively create the servers and will queue up the games for the pros on a custom level. Money TenZ basically is what you would consider it to be, but done in such a way that, you know, the teams are selected depending on, you know, there's different ways you can select the teams, but done in such a way that can still be tracked and there can still be winners and all this type of stuff, but it's just a better experience for the players trying to play each other and playing ranked. And Tarek says it's time to get Pro City back on the menu. We'll see how quickly that transpires. Also, this big rumour of the day that Global Esports, after, well, look, this season started maybe slightly more promisingly, then it's fallen off again a little bit, but MCE, somewhat controversial character. I mean, obviously he was with Cloud9 for some time. He was involved in a couple of bits of drama. But it looks like Global Esports are looking to sign MCE to their coaching staff. Elevated will go to the head coach role. MCE may become the assistant coach. So potentially big story there today. And we'll see if that transpires in any which way. But let's talk about some of the playoffs. Because yesterday, Europe finally got back underway. The new PCs are in action. It's been a long time coming, and as Boaster says, GG's for 2-0, Liquid next, see you there FNS baby, because of course he's going to be watch partying it. Thought this is all rather good. I think even as I play this out real quick, some of the Chinese community put this little video together on the relationship between Crashies and FNS, or like Crashies, FNS, and of course Boaster as well, mainly Crashies and Boaster. So I thought this was actually really rather nice from like just the Valorant community in general. Like the fans go crazy, don't they? So yeah, Boaster and Crashies, it's a crazy storyline, right? I mean, to see Crashies on Fnatic is still a bit of a whirlwind, and the idea of FNS look at it is, you know, one of his old duos from back in the day. Boaster's kind of calling him out, and, you know, Crashies and Boaster having a good time together. FNS sitting there on the sidelines, and Crashies still, you know, winning matches, potentially going even further than that, who knows. But yeah, Crashies was definitely a left field pick when Fnatic decided to get him in. Of course, with Leo not in the team anymore, and, you know, hopefully that can change in due course, right? But they had to do something. They brought Sayonara in for the off-season, and then Crashies became the man that they decided to sign when the season properly got underway. But there were 2 games, BBL Na'Vi. BBL did get the 2-0 win. You know, they were the favourites for the series. They kind of swept them aside. I mean, it was 13-9, 13-10 in the end. So BBL got the job done even on the Na'Vi map pick of the Fracture. So Na'Vi dropped down to the losers bracket. BBL find themselves only 1 series away from qualifying for Toronto. That would be a result for them. And the same is true for Fnatic as well. Big game against FNS Esports. Very impressive, I thought. I mean, look, Fnatic are going to continue to take their time in these rounds, and Boast is going to call some great strats in the final few seconds. But this was impressive, right? Because, like, Zeus is a great player. He had a really incredible clutch moment in this game as well. But it just didn't prove to be enough. 13-6 on the Lotus, on Foot's pick, a map that Fnatic do historically rather like, but still very impressive. And then they just handled business on the split in the end as well. Alpha goes 26-10 on the Rays. Mr. Phelan on the Teho here, 3-17. So, you know, could be prettier given that agent, but yeah, running the Teho and Fnatic don't on the split to drop 3 frags on it, not ideal. So Fnatic handled business, they advance on to the next round, and the next round looks like this. Heretics BBL, winner of that goes to Toronto. Liquid Fnatic, some history between those two, winner of that goes to Toronto. Vitality play for esports, Carmine Corp play Na'Vi, so Vitality be confident they can start to make a decent run, but yeah, it's still a long road ahead for any of these teams to make it all the way through to the tournament. Before we discuss what's happening in the Pacific, because FNS is definitely keeping an eye on that, I wanted to just share the clip that he mentioned on this last night. So over the last couple of days, there have been lots of theories. What's going on at NRG? Is FNS still there? Is he going to go? What's the situation? Is he getting dropped? Are they looking at another candidate? Because, you know, presumably the team is practicing, wanting to make some things right. And look, I think that probably is what is going on. We've heard rumours that Scuba could be coming in for FNS. They're changing around what's happening on the IGLing role. But FNS continues his watch parties and continues to have a rather great time. So potentially his retirement may be coming sooner than we expected before the season began. But I've got to share, of course, what he had to say about this. Now, just before you listen to this clip, the first part of this clip is just pretty funny and is maybe not entirely implausible. The end of the clip, I think, when he talks about the changing the code, I think it's very, very clear that he's not, you know, he's taken the mick basically, right? So, look, it's a funny clip. I love his deadpan explanation of this whole thing, and it doesn't necessarily mean that what we're talking about here isn't happening, but the way in which he describes it is probably not the full and whole truth.
I mean, NRG is practicing without me. I don't even care. Say what you want about them.
I think Fnatic losing to Heretics.
Wait, what?
I mean,
how dare they? I'm not gonna.
I'm not even kidding. I walked into the office. Okay, first of all, I opened VALORANT, right? And they were practicing, and I said, "Yo, do we have practice today?" And they literally said, "You don't."
What kind of happened last week? You had a couple of
Wait, who's they?
Usually kind of
name names.
What do you mean? My teammates.
But all of them simultaneously turned to you and said you don't, like they rehearsed.
Well, I
this?
asked Sam, and Sam said you don't. And I'm like, okay.
Sam?
And then I go to the office because I got a little like tilted about that. So I was like, wait, I gotta confront these guys. I go to the office, they changed the code for the gate.
Today is also about revenge, right?
Wait, when did this happen today?
Yeah, all of it happened today.
So I very much doubt that, you know, Som is basically, and the entire team are texting him to say, FNS, you're dropped. Like, you know, it's good to have you gone. Like, that's kind of the implication of saying, well, you're not, right? Look, maybe that text was said in jest. The whole idea of them changing the keys to the office where he can't get in, which is obviously TenZ has the keys to the Sentinels office, stuff like this. Like, there's just no way that FNS is I don't know, getting treated exactly this way. So I think he's just saying it because it's funny. But still, does it mean that he's not getting kicked? No, I think more than likely that is probably what's happening here because all the evidence does rather well align. Let's do the other 2 regions though before we get to the end of the video. So in China, the China Evolution Series is back underway, and it's interesting that this is in a thing really because Titan Esports Club got the 2-0 against DRG. Just to note mainly because Edward Gaming took the win against FPX, they're going to play Trace. Of course, they're playing with their full roster because effectively the way this works is we have the 12 teams, but the teams that qualified for Toronto, they can't play with their full roster, right? So GLA Game were not playing with their full team, and like basically they're playing with their academies and substitutes and stuff like that. And the same for Billy Billy Gaming, the same for the other team like Wolves, right, who also qualified all the way through as well. So, but it's just a good opportunity really for the teams to actually get some more practice in. Certainly the teams that aren't going to Toronto get the chance to prepare a little bit better going forwards and understand where their deficiencies may lie. So, yeah, exciting to see where this trends. But in the Pacific, Gen.G have just taken down RRQ 2-0. Both of these teams are going to Toronto. This victory, though, confirms Gen.G they will go to the World Cup, guaranteed. And, yeah, they are in the finals and right now the favourites to win their region again. So, yeah, congrats to Gen.G. Impressive performance, I thought here, 13-5, 13-8. So, yeah, RRQ go down. Maybe they've just done enough to get to this point, and then it's not going to go much further from there. But fair play to Gen.G after, messing around with a few things recently, finding this new roster that seems to be performing rather well for them. But the other series that is currently ongoing, and of course we'll discuss in great detail when this concludes tomorrow, is PaperX versus DRX. And on the game one, it's currently 11-6 PaperX. It looks like they might well take the game one here, and after that, who knows? Because, this is the decider, right? This decides who gets to Toronto and who doesn't. And PaperX, track by track, they're making the run. It's looking good for now, but DRX are not a team to be easily overestimated as the series goes on. So very much interested to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.